Hi there. It's Wednesday, 24 September 2025, and this is Healing After Loss. My name is ML. As always, I will be reading from this book, Healing After Loss, Daily Meditations for Working Through Grief by Martha Whitmore Hickman. If you like what you get from these episodes, then please do all of the YouTube things. Like, share, subscribe, comment. And if you'd like your own copy of this book, you can get one through the affiliate link that's listed below. Yes, I'll get a little bit of money for your purchase of this book. It's not an expensive book, so hopefully Martha Whitmore Hickman also gets a little bit of money for your purchase of the book. That's entirely up to you. We talk about grief. We talk about grieving. We talk about loss. I started this series because I lost my cat. Didn't lose him. He crossed over the Rainbow Bridge. But I started using the meditations in this book when my mother died in 2006, almost 20 years ago. So any loss that you have, be it a human being, an animal, or even a life change, losing a career, losing a connection to your education, a connection to a community, a group. There's all kinds of things that we lose and that we grieve the loss of. So this series hopefully helps you grieve those losses. Today, again, 24 September, let me read. When my father was an old man, he surprised me by remarking that he understood what my mother's death meant to me, but had no idea what to do about it. I think it would have been something if he had just said this. William Maxwell. One of the delicate issues within a family that has lost a loved one is how much and what to say to one another. Perhaps it will help if we can talk about the process. Do you feel like talking now, or would you rather be left alone? I'd like to talk about blank. But if you'd rather not, now, or ever, that's okay. We need to be as sure as we can that we are not misinterpreting one another's signals. And often, there's no way to find that out without asking. Particularly with children, we may refrain from acknowledging their grief and ours in some effort to protect them. They need our sharing, not our silence. What is unspoken is often more fearful than shared pain. Children are no strangers to tears and to puzzlement. They need us as we need them. It is probably better to risk saying too much than to hold back out of fear. I began tearing up just now reading that because I was reminded of when my mother died 20 years ago. My niece was an adult by then, but when my grandfather died a long time ago, I don't even remember what year it was, my niece was an infant, not an infant, a toddler. And so my sister found out that my grandfather was dying. We found out before he died that he was dying and that we all needed to get there. And she was crying because one does. And her daughter was on her lap. And her daughter had a cold and was trying to help mommy feel better about whatever it was. And so she was dabbing mommy's tears with her snotty tissue. Probably getting my sister sick. But as a child, she just wanted her mommy to feel better. And all she knew to say was all any of us ever know to say is, don't cry. It'll be okay. Don't cry. Don't cry. So it makes me laugh now. It didn't make me laugh then. But I tear up now thinking of not only the loss of my mother, but the survivors of the loss of my mother. My niece lost her grandma. And in all of the horrific tragedy of the loss of my mother, we individual family members didn't necessarily come together, but we pitched in. That specific niece was able to get a hold of the disposable camera that my mother had bought before her trip, and she took it to it managed to survive the fires of my mother's accident. And she took that disposable camera to a camera shop, or maybe something like a 1-hour photo that also had enhanced processing, whatever. And she gave them a very clear directive. This is the situation. This is what we have. We need you to process these negatives as if your memories depend on it. Because these are memories that we all need to share. And she had them handle that camera with extreme care and process those negatives and make 6 copies of every photo. And we all ended up with a packet of Mommy's recent memories. She had taken photos of her last adventures. No one asked that niece to do that, and I'm not going to name her because I don't have her permission to do so, but no one asked her to do that. She just pitched in. That was her way of contributing to our grieving process. My way was to find the silver linings. She was no longer suffering. She was healthier and happier than she'd been in a long time. Her neck was broken in an instant, so she didn't suffer the flames. All of the various things, I found the silver linings for everybody. But that niece of mine contributed to all of our grieving processes by handling those photographs with such care. So within a family, we have to do what we have to do. But one thing that we can recognize is when we are grieving a family member, or when we as a small community are grieving the same person, or the same animal, or the same whatever it is we're grieving, that recognize that we are all grieving, and to ask, are you comfortable talking about this? Because I need to talk about this. So can we talk about this? Here's the meditation. It is probably better to risk saying too much than to hold back out of fear. I didn't expect this to affect me today. But here we are. If you're getting something out of this, please, I welcome your comments. If not, I hope that this is helpful for you. I'll be back next week with another reading from this book. Until then, take care of yourself and go with grace.